Hi and welcome to the nest. So now that the warm weather's coming around, picnics, all that good stuff, Kelly and I are going to do one of our favorites from our picnic recipes, and that's a Spanish potato salad. So this is really an offshoot of Bobby Flay and what he did many years ago. I remember picking up the recipe. Of course, we modified it a little bit to fit our liking, but what we're going to do, we got 6 pounds of potatoes here. Now you could do it in thirds, 2, 4, 6 pounds. You just have to adjust the rest of these ingredients as necessary. So what we have here as part of the base of the dressing is we've got a 3/4 of a cup of red wine vinegar. And then within this we have 3 tablespoons of honey. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna add to that saffron. So saffron, most supermarkets carry it now. We're probably going to add at least 2 or 3 good pinches of saffron to the honey and red wine vinegar. And then what we're going to do is right at the beginning, we're just going to take this and we're going to bring it to a boil on the stove. And then we're just going to pull it off and let it cool down, because that's going to come into the dressing later after we boil the potatoes. Now once the potatoes are boiled and we brought our other mixture to a boil and pulled it off and let it cool, what we're going to need is we're going to need 3 cups of mayonnaise, your choice. It calls for like a cup of tomatoes, but really we're not big on tomatoes, so we'll just use whatever you guys feel you want to use in the recipe. You want to have 3 tablespoons of minced garlic. Fair warning, there's a lot of garlic in this potato salad, but it really does taste good. And then we want to get 3 tablespoons of thyme. We have some fresh thyme here because our herbs are starting to come up, and a 1/4 cup of parsley. You can adjust this up and down the scope as you'd like for the flavor. Thyme can be very potent. Of course, if you're using dry herbs, cut it in half. So dry herbs are much more potent than fresh herbs. And then we have what we want to use is 1.5 cups of onions. I have one here, and we'll see once we chop it up how that comes out. Alright, so now we're going to dice up our onion, we're going to dice up our tomato, we're going to add all this stuff right at the end. In fact, I have a friend coming over that don't like onions, so we're going to pull a little bit out for him on the side. So what we're going to do is we've got our 3 cups of mayo in the bowl. Look how pretty that looks. Our minced garlic, 3 tablespoons, and our red wine vinegar, honey, and saffron mixture. That saffron gives it such a beautiful, in fact I want to get all that out of there. It gives it such a beautiful color with that saffron. And all you're going to do is you're just going to bring this all together. You're going to want to whip it till it's all smoothed out. And that's going to be your dressing for the potato salad. And of course, as usual, if you had smell-o-vision, this is smelling fantastic right now. Would you agree, darling?
Yes.
And you aren't a big fan of red wine vinegar, huh? Right. Alright, so we got our potatoes boiling now, and what we're going to do is we're going to add the potatoes to this dressing. And I'm going to pull a little bit out. I'll put the tomatoes in and the herbs, and then I'm going to add the onions at the very end. Alright, so now we have our potatoes that just came off. Now they're still warm, still a little hot. You do want to put them in the dressing or the sauce when you pull them right out, because what's going to happen is then these potatoes are going to just suck up all of that great dressing that you have there. And as you can see, they're already kind of getting happy in there. Now what we're going to do, like I said, I'm going to pull the onion right till the end. But I'm going to mix this, and then I'm going to let it sit for about 5 minutes, just to let all the flavors soak in. And then we're going to give it another mix, and we're going to add our herbs, our parsley and thyme, and then we're going to put our tomatoes in. And I also don't want to put the tomatoes in until it cools down a little bit.
Okay.
Alright, so at this point what we did is this cooled down, soaked in a little bit. We put our herbs in and our tomatoes, and now we're going to give that a good mix. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add our onions in at the very end after we put a dish aside for one of our friends with no onions in it. So again, super easy recipe, and this will be probably very different than most potato salads that you've had with the saffron. And again, if you don't have saffron, just don't put it in. It'll still be equally as good. But you have that nice red wine vinegar and the honey mixture with that mayo, and it gives it a nice flavor profile. All right, now we're just we kind of mix that in. We're gonna take our onions and we're gonna do the same. All right, so we're gonna give this a taste. Tastes like it always tastes, very good. Creamy, and if you love garlic, man, this is a really good recipe. Thanks for watching the video. We really appreciate all your support. Please hit the subscribe button below if you haven't yet, and become part of our journey. We really appreciate the support. Thanks, everyone.